So, hey everybody, I'm here with Roland BuddhaHawk, who I had the great pleasure of experiencing several weeks back. It might be a month ago or so. Um, and I'm not even going to bother trying to like introduce you with titles or anything like that. We'll just, as it comes out. But anyway, an energy healer, and I had a great experience. I'm glad I was able to attend your session. Um, so, how are you doing, Roland?
I'm doing good. Good. This is fun. I like this. This is fun. This is impromptu. These are fun doing it this way. And I
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate you wanted to take some time and have a conversation with me. So this is great.
No, yeah, my pleasure. I think I really did benefit from attending your session. Um, so I wanted to be able to share that with people. It's always good to just speak with other energy healers, even if nobody else is listening to us,
Right.
So
I get
just
it.
to,
I get it.
yeah, just to have a conversation is nice.
Right.
And I'll mention too, I I forgot the date, but I guess about a month ago, um, I attended a session that you held at Jenny's beautiful Sunstone Sanctuary in
Yes.
Chester. That was yeah, a really nice setting.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, beautiful music going on. And then you did your energy thing while we were kind of zoning out, meditating
Right.
to the music.
Right.
So, how I'll let you do your introduction. Like, what do you do? What did you do to me? Right?
Okay. Fair enough. Easy enough question. Let's see how I do answering that. I'm an energy healer. It's something I've been doing all my life. Um, Obviously, I didn't really remember that for a good part of my life. I want to say around 2004, I had to remember stuff. So that involved um, uh, quitting a job and quitting a fiance, and in the same week. And then I had the opportunity to drive a car cross country. My buddy bought a car for his dad in LA, and he said, why don't you go clear your head, drive this car instead of me transporting it. So I did. And I that point I didn't feel I had any sort of connection. Um, I was just really down in the dumps with everything. And I had planned to go to the beginning of Florida, cutting off to Louisiana, go to Texas, go to San Diego, and drive up to LA. And that was my idea. But somewhere by Memphis, by Graceland, I started seeing Arizona like a neon sign. And then, of course, it became Sedona. And at the time, all I knew about Sedona was the vortexes. So I asked another friend to look up for a guide. I called them up. I made an appointment, and that was that. I stayed in Flagstaff. I drove the next day to go and see this guide, and I took this road 89A, which is nothing but desert landscape, but it's windy. You can only go 15, 20 miles an hour. Um, and just something about it was really strange. It was just making me have these weird feelings. I almost started crying four times out of nowhere, just like it was stirring things. And
Wow.
I almost like just was in a daze. Almost crashed a brand new Cadillac four times.
Oh man.
Don't tell my friend that, but so it was just a weird feeling. And then when I got to the bottom of this windy road, there's a river. And as I'm driving along, I kept on seeing like horses come out of the water, galloping on the water. And I was speaking out loud. I'm like, I know they're not there.
Wow.
Um, and then I say, I know I'm going to turn my head. They're not going to be there. But I turn my head. They're not there. See, you're crazy. But then I see them again out of the corner of my eye. They're right there. So by the time I got to her, she's like, so what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. You're the psychic. You tell me, which of course is something I would never tell a reader,
Wow.
psychic, or a healer ever again. But she took me to the vortexes. We did some breathing exercise to help with the emotions of the breakup, and then we did some expanding, and that's when things got a little crazy. At some point, I felt like my spirit went through some portal in the canyon that was there and then out into the sun. And then all of a sudden I started seeing all these visuals, pictures, and a lot of memories of things that I didn't remember just started flooding, and I felt my body shaking. But when I came
Wow.
to, I didn't understand um, what just happened. This whole I was trying to process stuff, but I had memories of things, and so like one of the memories was working on my mom when she was really sick with cancer. I came home from a restaurant at like 2 in the morning, and I was just hearing her moan in pain, and I just got up and I was really crying, and I just kneeled and I put my hands over her stomach. This is 1999, and my hands felt like ice, but she felt this tremendous heat. And like 10 minutes later, she passed out, and she passed out for like 10 hours. And she woke up refreshed. She goes, "Oh, this is the best I felt in a long time."
Wow.
But I didn't do it again. I never paid attention to that. And then another memory, and this is one of the big ones that I put all the time, is well, I must have been 3 or 4 years old. Um, it was my cat Mittens. Um, she came home all scratched up, bloody, paw up, having a tough time breathing. And I remember I gently picked her up and told her, I was like, "I love you. You're going to be okay." And I was walking home very slowly with her. But so one of the big things that I remembered was I always see this big ball of light. It's always there. And it's like it was always there, but I just didn't remember or didn't know it was there. But it's always been there.
Mm.
And so I would always ask the ball of light to help me to help the person, the space, the animal. And then the ball of light moves over me, then the energy would flow through. It's always been that way, but I just seem to forget about it.
Mm.
So, and I remembered that, and I was like, "Oh, I remember now." And then from there on, it just became this exploration of me, just remembering things and how I used to operate when I was young, trying to
Mm.
get that back, because that kid didn't have any limits because you didn't know any better.
Right.
Um, and as time went on, you know, I learned other modalities. I tried anyway, and it would always default back to the ball of light. Or the ball of light would always kind of come into play some way, somehow. So I just kind of, even to this day, even now, I still go back. The ball of light's always there. I have to be a 4-year-old boy, but the ball of light is always there.
That's
That's just
cool.
kind of how it works. Yeah. So in the instance of what we did at the Sunstone Sanctuary that day with Jenny, um, there was what, 8 people, I think. So
Uh,
it was,
yeah, I think it was
I
about
for-
8.
yeah, I think 8 people. So it was me asking for everybody there, and then that energy just flowed through. Now, the cool thing with that, whether it's 8 or 80, because I've done 80 people, the connection goes out per person, and it's all flowing at the same time for everybody. And the cool thing as you experience is the music's a little different. So it's like trailer movie music. It's theatrical, if you will. It kind of moves you around if you allow it to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes you in a different type of meditation. I think it's safe to say. It's definitely, I'd
Yeah.
like to say it's unique in the way it works. At this point, I feel I can safely say that. Um, but I don't know. I haven't come across
Uh,
somebody that's doing what I do, but not to say it's not out there. But I like it, and it's always evolving. So
and I
I
guess so
enjoy
yeah,
it.
you're able to create, right? I mean, the music part of it is, I guess, part of your creative expression
Right,
for what you're
right.
doing, right?
Yeah, it helps. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. It's fun for people. It's just a different way. It's really no different than somebody doing, um, as far as like helping somebody, putting them in a relaxed state. It's no
Mm-hmm.
different than singing bowls or somebody chanting. Um, It's just a different avenue of that kind of nature. But
Mhm.
overall, I mean, it's the energy that's really kind of letting things flow for people, right? And
Right,
it's very, and as subtle as it might be, it could be very intense. I mean, it's changing, but it's moving. But everybody's having an experience, so
right.
that's a pretty cool thing.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it was interesting. I actually appreciated being in that group environment because I also, because some people, the other people were sharing what it was, right, that they were hoping to resolve or improve or, head towards, etc. So everybody had very different issues.
Right,
Yeah, and everybody had, uh, I guess I could even, not to be dramatic, but some people had what we might say rather profound experiences, or so
right.
it was, yeah, so it was very interesting. Um, and then for me, it was a bit more subtle. Uh, when I walked in, I was like, well, I don't have any really obvious physical things to address, but it was interesting because you had picked up on, and this was maybe even a strange thing, right? So I went into this energy session totally unprepared, not knowing what to expect from the energy healing. And when you asked, what do we want to work on? I was like, wow, I would want to become more efficient with my own energy healing, with the emotion code stuff. Um, and it was very interesting how you immediately picked up on the just my not trusting myself enough. It was pretty cool. It was also interesting to me that you were aware of the emotion code, body code stuff, because it's very unusual, right? Those are not common practices yet, so that was interesting too,
Yeah, I think
for
it's
me.
great.
Yeah,
I
so
like
it
it.
was pretty cool. So I did, after that session, I didn't do any work for several days after that, but then I started to do a lot, and I have felt more comfortable. And I know I still actually need to work on that more. I actually had a very nice meeting with another different kind of energy healer who picked up on the same thing.
Oh,
So, in fact, I should give a shout out because that was Lisa Esposito, who you have also crossed paths with.
yes.
So, no such thing as coincidence, right? So it was very interesting that the two of you had picked up on the same thing with regards to me,
Uh-huh.
and I have, yeah, and I can feel myself, kind of on a spectrum of continuing to improve now, increasing my
Awesome.
awareness. So yes, that's pretty. So I'm appreciative of the work you do, and it has benefited me,
Thank
and
you.
I saw it benefit, a handful of other people in my presence. So yeah, so very cool. And I know it's hard. It's hard for people to get a grasp on energy healing, and especially I think in people like you, there are many people that have very unique approaches, just as every individual is very unique, right? So people have a different way of expressing these abilities or gifts or whatever we want to call it. Um, so it's cool to see that. So it was
Right.
very cool, very interesting to see how you're implementing that work, and thank you very much for sharing your story. I mean, that was like a pilgrimage that you
Uh,
took. That
yeah, and it still is. I mean, it's still an amazing exploration. I still
mm,
love to learn, I still always am saying like, what happens if,
mm,
or let's see what happens if, it's not a, I don't think it's ever going to be one of those things that it just settles here as far as anything to do with energy healing.
right.
It's always going to evolve. It's always going to move into something else. It's always just going to continue on. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about learning,
Mm,
coming across somebody and that person might strike me as like, hey, I want to learn from you. It could happen. I'm excited about that. So
right.
whatever happens, I'm ready for it. And so anytime it's even with groups, like I had just recently I did a group. It was probably one of the most profound ones that I did, to the point that I was talking so fast, like a little kid, that I couldn't even, I almost couldn't talk. I was so excited. And just telling everybody what I was perceiving. Now, my visions, I perceive stuff so visually, it's so vivid that I'm just like, but what I was seeing that day was beyond. And so I was trying to tell the owners, and I was like, I'll tell everybody now. I was so elated. I couldn't, I couldn't get it out fast enough. It was
Wow.
nuts. So it just
Wow.
keeps on, it keeps on moving
Mm.
in this amazing direction. And I'm just so like excited about it all the time.
Oh,
So I'm
that's
like, what's going to
great.
happen next? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
great.
fantastic. I love the your emphasis on the child aspect. Because I explain this to people sometimes too, and I always like I'll sometimes say I don't know, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up,
Hmm.
you know, to hold
Yep.
on to the power, right? Because as you were saying, we're born like with this unlimited power, and then it's kind of suppressed and boxed in. We forget, or we lose the not that we lose the ability to access it, but we forget how to access it. And yeah, so it's cool. And
Yeah.
you've had that rediscovery of who
Yeah.
you are. Yeah,
But
very cool.
I'm still not I would say I peaked when I was 8 years old. That 8 year old, whew, man, he was amazing. The
That's
things he could
cool.
do. And I think I'm still trying to go back to the 8 year old and then some. And I'm
Cool.
still working towards getting towards that 8 year old, because he just, there was nothing he couldn't do. I'll just say that. And
Cool.
what's past that, but let me get to him first. Um, and then life gets in the way. And 8 years old is kind of when I shut things down for myself, just because I wanted to fit in, because I didn't fit in. And I tried really hard to, and I never really did. And so it didn't
Mm.
pay off for me back then. And so, as life goes on, then, I wanted to play sports because I wanted to fit in. And then as, kids went to college, well, I'd go visit them because I didn't go to college, but and then drinking, and it's like I would drink only because everybody else was. And,
Mm.
I just wanted to fit in like everybody. I just wanted to be a regular person. And that's kind of how I went through life for a very long time, until I didn't. And
Oh,
2004 was the beginning of it. Up until, I would say up until almost 2 years ago now, I was trying to do regular jobs, and I just, after a while, I couldn't do it anymore. That's why I decided to do, you know, energy healing full time. And I had the opportunity to do it. So now I'm working at a holistic doctor's office. Had the
nice.
opportunity to, yeah. And this is year two. Um, and so far
Nice.
so good. I'm very grateful.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really, really good. And it's so exciting to hear because like so many people, they don't get to discover that side of themselves or tap into their true calling, so to say. And then, of course, we're all human, so we're all vulnerable to those emotions and the pull of the world, etc., or the pull of the physical world, I should say.
Right.
It's really tough. I mean, for me too. I'm much newer to this. I always viewed energy healing as there were these certain gifted people, so I always promoted it. It's like my whole life. I was always into the idea since I was a teenager,
Hmm.
but never even considered that I would be a participant or actually doing it. And then it was just by accident um, that the emotion code, it was actually my brother that asked me to review the book. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
wow.
yeah, I was like, I looked briefly and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? That sounds like it's in line with the thousands of other amazing modalities that are out there for energy healing. And he's like, well, could you read it? Like he kind of he didn't want to read it, but he was very interested. So I was like, all right. I kind of begrudgingly started, and then I was like, wait, I got to do this. This is for me. This is it. And then
Wow.
yeah, so then and so now and that's only 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I got certified, I think 3 years ago. Um, but yeah, so I'm loving it. So it's cool, and right, so we all have some kind of ability, and
Yes.
whether or not we get the opportunity to unlock that or tap into that during this lifetime is a that's another question. But we all have it. So
Yes, we do.
yeah, and it's cool, right? It emerges in different ways for different people. So
Yep.
yeah, so very nice. But yeah, again, thank you for sharing that. Um,
My pleasure.
I always go into these videos when I want to make a video to publish on YouTube. I'm always thinking, okay, I got to get something out in like 5 minutes, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm like, okay, well, that 5 minute goal didn't work. There's just so much to talk about. It's so exciting. But yeah,
Oh,
thank you again. So let me ask you, where can people find you? You
um,
right? So you're
you you can find me on my website.
okay.
It is BuddhaHawk.com. Trying to think of there's so many different things I can let's see. Uh, what else can we do? That's probably going to be the best way to find me is BuddhaHawk.com.
Okay, yeah, so I'll have that information right here so people will be able
Yeah,
to get it. Just click a link
and
below in the
hey,
description.
I can give you another link that has more stuff too if you want.
Okay,
And
yeah, like a link
that's
tree or something.
yeah, that'll have everything. That'll be cool.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, no, my pleasure, my pleasure. I'm,
Awesome.
you know, I was also interested. It's interesting you mentioned in recent years you're now at a physical location,
Yes.
also at a holistic health
Yeah.
center, because
Yes.
I'm setting that up with a chiropractor right now. Also
Awesome.
for myself, yeah. So yeah, we'll have to do so where are you? Are you near Middletown, or I'm in
No, I'm in
Middletown,
New Jersey.
New Jersey, right? Okay, because I
Yeah.
know you're bouncing around a bit. That's you're living in New Jersey also then.
I live in New Jersey. The holistic doctor is in New Jersey. It's in Wayne, New Jersey.
Okay.
Um, but I travel all over. I travel to South Jersey. Obviously, I drive upstate, well,
Uh-huh.
upstate, it's upstate to me, but
Right,
all
right.
that area where you are, Middletown, even Wurtsboro. I've traveled beyond to up by Liberty and beyond that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I've been to Maryland to do this. I'm, spreading. Eventually, I'm gonna probably do something in Connecticut within the next 6 months. I think,
Cool.
lining something up there, and we'll see where else things will be going.
Okay.
So
Excellent. Excellent.
there's a movement happening here. So,
Good, good. Is it okay for me to include discussion of the physical location in the video? I'll just keep this
I,
right in.
me personally, I'm okay with it. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know. Yeah, we're good. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's just me.
okay.
It's me, you, and a couple hundred people, so we're okay.
Right, right. I don't have a lot of people that watch my stuff, so but
You never know, right?
okay, yeah. Very
No,
good,
I'm
very
fine.
good.
It's fine. I appreciate it actually, and I'm sure the doctor might appreciate it too, because he's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Oh, nice, nice. Very cool. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we'll have to have some maybe we'll have some other discussions. I'll have to check out the Holistic Health Center too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Take a look.
He's really he's an amazing
Mm,
guy on what he does and how he does it.
nice.
Like I
Oh,
said,
in
go ahead.
I was gonna say, in fact, do you want to give a shout out to the name of the Holistic Health Center? You know.
It's the name of the doctor is Dr. Matt Singer here in Wayne, New Jersey. Um, it's just him. It's really good over here. Feels
Okay,
really
nice.
good. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm in my space now. This is my space. Nobody else shares this space with me. It's all like this is Buddha hawked out, as you can see behind me.
Yes, yes, very nice. I like that. Very cool.